Welcome back, everyone. I'm Robin from This Blog's Neat, and we're going to taste through my favorite rum distillery's entire core range today. So that's 4 different rums that we're going to try today. And I'm going to try to keep my intro short. I have done a number of videos about Hampden Estate. I don't know that I've gone into like the full history and everything. I don't remember because I've done so many videos. If you're interested in learning more, there's tons of information over on their website, or you could let me know and I can do an actual video talking about the history of Hamden and everything like that and their entire process, which I think I've dove pretty deep into. In the description below, I'll include like links to all the videos that I've done that are related to Hamden, tasting different Hamden rums, or just talking about different parts of the process that they use. But I want to keep the intro kind of short because I do want to dive into tasting these, and I have 4 different rums to taste. So yeah, Hamden has been around for hundreds of years producing rum, and they've been doing it the same way since they started. And up until very recently in the distillery's existence did they start actually releasing some of their own bottles. Most of what they produce, or up until recently, what they produced was shipped off to the UK and to other export markets where the rum was used to blend with other rums and was aged and things like that. And it wasn't until 2009 when Hamden was like, maybe we should release rum under our own label. And 2009 is when Rum Fire came to the market. A year later, they decided to start setting aside casks for aging. And then 8 years later, in 2018, is when they released their first flagship bottling that was actually fermented, distilled, and completely aged at Hampden Estates. And that's what we're going to start with. This is the Hamden 8-year-old. So the Hampden Estate 8-year-old, this is sitting at 46% ABV. I'm sure it's a blend of multiple different marks, and probably every single batch that they release is slightly different from the others. But ultimately, it is wild fermented from molasses. It's distilled using the double retort pot stills, and it is aged tropically for 8 years. My guess, based on the color, is that probably most of what goes into this blend is ex-bourbon barrels, because it's not, for being 8 years old and aged entirely in Jamaica, it's not super duper dark. You should be able to find this bottle for around $70. That's what I found on Wine Searcher. But yeah, let's dive right in. So what I'm getting initially is like vanilla ice cream, but it's like vanilla ice cream at the beach. Someone far away is putting on some coconut sunscreen, and right next to you is someone eating pineapple that's been sitting out in the sun for a little bit too long. Okay, there's a super familiar fruit in here that I cannot pinpoint. There's also some like sweet coconut water that's been infused with banana peels. Like a wheatgrass shot, but really sweet. Is that apples? No, it's star fruit. Yeah, maybe that's the familiar fruit that I'm getting. There's also a really sweet butter pickle thing in here. For 46%, this has some really nice creaminess. There's a very little bit of heat. It's kind of like a warming thing. It's really not too bad. And there's a lot of pineapple, and that star fruit is coming forward. There's also a really fun, like dirty, earthy thing to this. There's also like a cinnamon bark finish that like starts to turn into like this sweet crabgrass thing. And there's a little bit of like the bitterness that you get from burnt caramel, like a little bit like hints of burnt caramel in there. Caramel. Do you say caramel or caramel? Yeah, what's not to like about that? That's great. That was lovely. Wow. So we're starting off great. Okay, so when I went on Hamden's website they have their core range, their 4 different bottles listed. And so that's the order that we're going in today. So we started with the Hamden 8-year. Next up, we'll be tasting the Hampden Estate HLCF Classic. This is essentially aged Rum Fire. HLCF stands for Hamden Light Continental Flavored, and this is sitting at 60%. I believe Rum Fire is at 63.5% ABV, 62.5%, 63? Yeah, 63 plus or minus 0.5% ABV. And so this is at 60, which I conveniently have, you know it, you know the Hamden 8 Marks collection. And that has unaged HLCF at 60% ABV. I won't do it in this video, but I will come out with another video where I taste the HLCF unaged against this to see what some oak is bringing to the table. Do like an actual like direct comparison. You should be able to find this. If you can find this, hopefully you can find this from like $80 to $85 in that range. So because we know the mark of this rum, we know exactly how it's produced. HLCF is fermented for 7 days and it uses low quantities of cane juice vinegar, dunder, and muck in the fermentation. It then goes through the double retort pot still, and this is aged for 4 years. And again, based on the color, my guess is that a lot of that is aged in used casks, probably mostly ex-bourbon barrels. Now, we can get quite nerdy on this one because this bottle includes the actual congener concentration as well as the ester concentration. So there's 3,606.9 grams of total congeners per hectoliter of pure alcohol. Now, of those congeners, which essentially means not ethanol or water. Of those congeners, 476.9 grams per hectoliter of pure alcohol are esters. And I did do some math, and we're not going to dive into that today, but I did some ester math to figure out, based on that concentration of esters, what concentration of the different types of esters that make up that ester count are in this bottle. Does that make sense? I don't know if that was a run-on sentence or not. We won't dive into this today. I will save that for the video where I'm comparing this HLCF to the unaged HLCF. Nail salon, right off the bat. It's nail salon, but it's like a high-end nail salon because it's not giving me too much of that like acetone nail polish thing. There's a big difference between nail polish remover and nail polish smell versus nail salon, because there's also all the lotions and the hand soaps and whatever diffusers are going in this nail salon. But like when you walk into a nail salon, it's not like, oh God, that's just like nail polish remover and nail polish. There's a lot of that, but there's also so much more that goes into it. So if you've never been into a nail salon, go, yeah, what are you waiting for? Go get your nails done. It's like if there were tons of like vanilla and fruity scented candles or diffusers in this nail salon, which I feel like I now just downgraded it from a high-end nail salon to now like not a nail salon that's just trying to cover up all the like nail polish remover smells. There's definitely that overripe pineapple character. Some lychee fruits. Lychee? I do this every time. Lychee, tomato, you know what I'm talking about. And that starfruit thing's coming forward. Wow, I can't escape the starfruit. All right. Ooh, there's like a lemon curd thing too. And okay, maybe I'm just thinking about lemon bars, but like a super, super sugary graham cracker crust. Like if the sugar was like a really, really dark brown sugar. Ooh, I found those sweet butter pickles again. There's some banana peels. Okay, and then there's a mesquite wood, mesquite wood thing. It's not burned, it's just kind of waiting to be put in the smoker. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think I forgot I was sipping something that was 60% ABV. I took a bigger sip than I should have, so there's definitely more heat. But it is 60% ABV. But it has this lovely, lovely creamy mouthfeel. Definitely that warm heat. But there's so much juicy, juicy pineapple. Oh my gosh. So much juicy pineapple. That's like the predominant thing that's coming forward, is like, it's overripe pineapple. It's like perfectly ripe pineapple. Really, really, really juicy. And it's as if it were served on, I don't know what the technical name for this is, but like, you know, when a palm frond falls off the palm tree and like the base of it is like this, I don't know, you could use it as a platter. Imagine you're using this as a platter. It's dried. Would you call it like a palm tree husk or something? I don't know, palm frond base, whatever it is. But this is dried, and you're using that to serve the really, really ripe pineapple on. Imagine that. Almost, I don't know, almost like the outer part of a coconut, like the coconut husk. Is that a coconut husk? Not the shell, like the hairy part. Yeah. But yeah, this is very, very fruit forward. There's like some syrupy prunes in here as well. And maybe like a little bit of like almost an earthy, spicy thing at the end that's kind of like star anise, but it's predominantly like very fruit forward, super delightful. Wow. All right, so next on my list is Hampden Estate Pagos. Pagos, Pagos. This is a little bit darker. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so much. Okay. So much syrup, but let me tell you what Pagos is. So this is the bottle in their core range that is made exclusively from ex sherry casks. They use both ex Oloroso and ex PX casks. And this is in partnership with Bodegas Fundador. I don't know if that's how you say Fundadora, but it's really fun to say Fundadora. So we also don't know what marks went into these casks. My guess is that they had these ex-sherry casks and they put varying marks in each one of them, and then they've since blended them. That's my guess. We don't know which mark went in this batch. However, we do know the ester concentration. This is sitting at 467.9 grams of esters per hectoliter of pure alcohol. So that kind of puts us within the same realm as like HLCF, which I just tasted. But that's not to say that HLCF was the mark that went into these casks. You know what I mean? Like they probably just blended them together, higher and lower marks, and that's what came of it. I also don't know how long this rum was aged. There's no age statement on it, but I do know that the Solera butts previously held Oloroso in them for up to 30 years. And what that means is that a lot of the oak compounds within those sherry butts have been extracted from the sherry, and now what's left is a lot more of the delicate flavors as well as a lot of the sherry, I'm sure. From what I saw on Wine Searcher, you should be able to find this bottle from like anywhere from like $75 to $95, within that range. Yeah. Okay, so this is so syrupy. It's just a lot of fruity syrups. There's maple syrup and there's so much butterscotch. There's a little muskiness in here too. Like an old wooden chest of some sort with like a little bit of old varnish on it. There's some sweet oranges in here, like really decadent oranges. Some of that overripe pineapple is still coming through. Ooh, that's like red hot cinnamon. There's a little like grungy vanilla thing too. A lot of dark dried fruits. So yeah, like the sherry influence is definitely coming forward. And some peppercorns. Wow, there's so much more earth and spice that's coming forward on the palate. Like the nose was so syrupy and sweet. but that's not the case on the palate. I think I forgot to mention this is 52% ABV. There's a little bit of warmth. The heat's really not bad, but I'm also just coming from sipping the HLCF Classic, which is at 60%. There's a nice creamy, viscous mouthfeel. A lot of like dark fruit flavors, a lot of dark syrupy fruits, a lot of prunes. That dark earthiness is like a dirty pineapple. Dirty pineapple, that sounds bad, but not. Good dirty pineapple. There's like a fresh grated cinnamon over some chocolate finish. This is really nice. I mean, a lot of the notes that I'm saying, right? Like the dark fruits, the spice, a little bit of that earthiness, like there's a lot of sherry impact on here. And I don't think it's in a bad way. Like this is really, really nice. And it's so different from the other Hamdens that I've tried. This is really, yeah, this is more of like the nighttime, like decadent Hamden. Whereas like everything else feels very much like a daytime kind of bright sipper. But this is more like dark and loungy and like kind of makes sense, right? The sherry impact. But yeah, wonderful. So the flavors, like predominantly what I would say like the ester character is like really, really sticking in my mouth. So the order of which I try these is probably also impacting what I'm picking up, what I'm tasting in each and every one of these. So keep this in mind. Even after sipping water, I'm still tasting the rums. Okay, last but not least on my list is Great House, the 2023 release. So every year Hamden comes out with a new release under the Great House label. You can kind of think of this as like a distiller's blend or something like that. It's usually a blend of different marks. This one's aged exclusively in ex-bourbon casks. I don't know what marks went into this blend in particular. So for example, the 2019 and 2020 releases were both blends of 80% OWH that was aged for 7 years and 20% Diamond H that was aged for 3 years. 2021 and 2022, not sure exactly what those blends were. 2023, bottled at 57% ABV and aged in ex-bourbon barrels. So yeah, let's see. These are highly sought after bottles. If you can find it, it's probably going to be at least $110. But there's a light color to this. I think, is it the lightest out of all of them? Yeah, I think it seems like out of all 4 that I've tried, it might be the lightest, like even lighter than the HLCF Classic, which has like touches, just like a touch of copper in it. So this is a nice light golden color. Oh my gosh, there's so much vanilla. Whoa. And a light fruit. Ooh, it's like banana pudding, like Magnolia's banana pudding with the vanilla wafers. Super light banana, lots of like custardiness, lots of vanilla. There's toffee in here too. Like white chocolate? Like a white chocolate fudge though? I don't know. When's the last time I've had fudge? I'm getting a little bit of that like sweet butter pickle thing coming through. And that's got a little brininess that's accompanying it. Probably out of all 4, this is what I should have started with. I don't know. Maybe the Hamden 8 years. Yeah, okay, no. Whoa. I just got, like a lot of butterscotch on the Hamden 8 year. Okay, all right. Back to the Great House. Oh my gosh. Definitely like a daytime or brunch, which is daytime, obviously. But yeah, definitely like a daytime sipper. This is so nice and light. creamy mouthfeel. There's a little bit of like a tingliness that comes with some pineapple notes that just kind of reminds me of fermenting pineapple. A lot of that vanilla comes forward. There's a nice sweet plantain in there as well, and very light, gentle spices. This is not super earthy or dark or anything. Very nice and light spices like cinnamon and nutmeg. Really nice. I love Hamden, obviously. Any one of these would be amazing finds to pick up. Like, I would recommend any and all of these, but based on my tasting notes, try and pick out which one you think, if you're interested in grabbing one of these. I'm not going to tell you which one to grab. Each one of these was different, and I would kind of recommend going back to my tasting notes and just judging which one you think you would like the best based on what I was tasting. If you know you like Rum Fire, you would definitely want to pick up the HLCF Classic. If you like something really light, Great House 2023, go for it. If you like something a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more complex, with a little bit more oomph, the 8-year, it's still light while having just a little bit more pow. And then the Pagos, yeah, like decadent. You want a nighttime Hamden, go with that one. There you go. Grab all of them. So as I mentioned, I will be tasting HLCF Classic against the HLCF Unaged, both at 60% ABV. I think that'll be a fun video. And I'm also going to dive into the actual ester breakdown of HLCF Classic. Like, we're going to go, yeah, spreadsheets. I also have another Hamden that I will be tasting. Another aged version versus the unaged version. I love that I have the 8 marks collection that I can just like, oh, let's see how this compares to the unaged. So I'll be tasting that as well. Look out for that video. And then I have a bunch of other rums that I need to taste. Some from Louisiana. I've got one from LA, one from Thailand. So yeah, stay tuned for those. So yeah, but before I go, my Patreons, they already know kind of what tastings I have coming up, what rum samples I have, what rums I've picked up. So they already know these videos are coming. But if you, the viewer, really enjoyed my content and would like to support the channel beyond just the normal YouTube things like subscribe, comment, share, I would be really appreciative if you joined us over on Patreon. And I've got a link in the description below, but I do really, really appreciate my Patreons. So thank you guys so much for helping to support the channel. I really, really appreciate you. The shirt looks like a college t-shirt. So Hamden, if you're accepting students, please let me know. I'd love to apply. I'd love to major in macrobiology. Yeah, class of 2024. I'll be there. Yeah, Sal. Yeah.